Hey, how you guys doing? This is Tim, and a friend of mine by the name of Joyce Connor on Facebook. He asked me a question the other day. He asked me to make a video of it, actually. To answer his question, the question was, do I think MMA type, if MMA and UFC type training, if it's ready for the streets? And to be honest with you, I would have to say some of the techniques are, yes, this is true. Some of the techniques are designed for the street. Most of the techniques, no, and I'll explain to you why. I have seen it. I've seen this sort of scenario many of times where, I walk into a UFC gym and it's the type of techniques that they train in are designed for the sport that they're training for. And when you're training for a certain type of combative sport like the UFC or MMA type stuff, whatever you want to call it, you're training for. You have to train with the rules that they give you. So, if you analyze this, there's certain types of techniques you can't even train in. You have to throw them out the window. And it's like, if you're gonna do that right there, you already have a dilemma. There's a whole monkey wrench thrown into it right there. So there's a lot of street ready techniques they don't train in. Two, when you walk into the ring, it's you know who you're gonna fight. This doesn't apply in the streets. You don't know who you're going to fight. So that's another monkey wrench thrown into it. Another element is, you have a referee that could break up the fight if things get too brutal, or if the rules are broken. And on the streets, that's not going to happen. You either do or die. So, it's like, these guys don't really prepare themselves for more. They don't prepare themselves for much more than the sport. So, that's why I was asked that question, is like, do I really believe that MMA or UFC type training is ready for the streets? I would have to say most of the techniques, no. Some of the techniques, yes. It's just, unlike, traditional martial arts, if you train in any traditional martial arts, and if you train it properly, it's just as deadly as the next martial art, whether it be jiu-jitsu or kung fu or whatever. If you train any martial art properly, it would be just as effective. It would work. It would be just as deadly as anything else. So it's like, I hate it when people say, well, Aikido, this and that, or whatever. I disagree with that, because if you could train in any martial art, and if you train it properly, like I said before, it'll be just as effective or just as deadly as anything else. And on top of that, it's like, traditional martial arts, we spend a lot of time training on how to defeat multiple attackers one-on-one, whether it be standing or on the ground, whatever. So when it comes to street-ready combat, I would have to say, obviously, traditional martial arts are more ready for the streets than what these MMA participants or UFC participants are training in, But like I said before, if you're going to ask me, do I think that MMA martial arts or MMA training techniques or UFC training techniques, I wouldn't really call them martial art, but are MMA training techniques ready for the streets? I would say most of it, no. Some of it, yes.